Hello, welcome to Veterans and Bars Getting Bourbon. My name is Rusty Martis, and I am a retired Air Force Mustang and OEF veteran. And I got a special show for you tonight. I'm going to pop open a bottle of Eagle Rare. I've never had this before, so I'm very excited about it. As you can tell, it's got that rich copper. This is a 10-year Eagle Rare. What's really cool about this is everybody online, everybody at the store when I walked in, they were selling out. If they got a case in within an hour, it was sold out. So these are hard to find, and with a price point of $35, I'm excited to give it a try. And we're going to do that in just a second. But I got a special show for you this evening. If you didn't realize, this is the 100-year anniversary for the American Legion. So we did some interviews a while back with some American Legion heroes. And so we're going to go back and look at some of those in celebration of the 100 years and also just to celebrate some of our local heroes this evening. So we'll be right back to give this a try. Welcome back to Veterans and Bars Getting Bourbon. So we're getting ready to pop open this Eagle Rare. I thought this was the perfect bourbon. If you're not familiar with the show, I always choose a bourbon with the specific guest that we're doing. Well, tonight's episode is really about the American Legion and looking back at some of everything that they've done over the last 100 years. But really what it is about is recognizing some local heroes and talking with them about their stories. So I thought this was perfect because this is a rare bourbon to get, and matter of fact, when I was in the store, I just happened to come across it, and it was the last bottle that it had behind the shelf that had just gotten a case in. It was sold out within an hour. So, and at a price point of $35, I'm very excited to give this a try. You know, it's about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness is what it says on the bottle. And I think that's just perfect for what the American Legion is all about and what they do and all the resources that they can provide. And of course, they are a North Kentucky Military Veteran Coalition partner of ours, at least one of the posts is, but they can do a lot of good things. So let's pop this open and give it a swirl and a taste and see what it's all about. Of course, with this particular bourbon, I wanted to just do it neat because I've never had it before. So I wanted to get really that full richness and flavor of that bourbon. Now this is listed on the website as a sweet and full-bodied bourbon, and you can see that it is a 10-year, so it's got that rich color. It's been that charred oak barrel for the last 10 years. You first kind of smell to the nose. You definitely can smell the alcohol, but it's got that fruit, apple, maybe some dark cherries in there, bananas. Let's give it a taste. You get that kind of that burning sensation originally, and then it settles down. I really can tell there's some clove in there. Some vanilla. Got some vanilla coming through. Obviously cinnamon is part of that. And then that strong oak kind of at the end there. You can tell, I definitely can tell just from that first sip that no wonder it's such a popular bourbon. It's really smooth. It really is. Like I said, you kind of get that alcohol up front, but then it really smooths out with that caramel and that oak. You get some fruit tasting with that too. Very good, very well worth. Absolutely recommend that you do it. You do it neat. I'm actually going to try it a couple of different ways tonight. I'm going to come back later and taste it on the rocks as well. And anytime you do it on the rocks, it's always best if you do a bourbon distilled water ball inside that, because then it don't really get rid of the flavor. Just kind of cools it down for you. So we'll come back in just a little bit, but in the meantime, enjoy some of these clips from some interviews that we did with some of the American Legion local heroes.
Just to start, can you state your name, branch of service, and time frame you served?
Sure. It's Wayne Lohmuller in United States Air Force, and I served from 29 March 1982 to 31 August 2004. Retired Master Sergeant. I was deployed to Desert Shield, Desert Storm. So on September 1st of 1990, we flew out of Malmstrom Air Force Base, and we came back on March the 7th of 1991. Thought we were in the rear area until Saddam Hussein shot a Scud missile from one end of Iraq towards Israel. And if you took a pin and a string and a pencil and you circled down, that went below us now. So that made us within firing range of his Scud missiles. And his threats were the bombing of the runways and stuff. So on the very first night of the war, all of our sirens were going off. We were already pretty much in our chemical warfare gear, and we went running out to our bunkers. And as soon as I went out the door of our headquarters building, there was explosions everywhere. And I thought, he has bombed our runways. I can't believe he's got to our runways. So I ran to our bunker, I grabbed an airman, and we went to our bunker. We were waiting for the paratroopers to come down. And the explosions were the Patriot missiles, the American Patriot missiles shooting at the Scud missiles. Yeah. So it was a relief to know that it wasn't really bombs hitting our runway, it was our bombs shooting up. But as we were sitting there in our bunker, you could look up and you could see the Scuds coming through orbit. And that particular night, he shot 8 Scuds directly at us, and there were 16 that actually, the other ones went over us towards other cities. But that was exciting and scary, you know, not ever wanting to have gone to war, but got the feel of, you know, actual explosions and things like that.
Gary Holbrook, Army, and from 79 to 2002. Well, I was what they call a Mustang. I started off as an enlisted soldier, I was a private, and I'm working my way up to major. I knew as a young child that I was going to be some way in the service. Holbrook has served in every conflict since the War of 1812, with the exception of Vietnam. And I always admired my father. Actually got back in the National Guard and actually ended up retiring out of the National Guard back when I was probably 10 years old. So I knew that he had service before, and my grandfather was in World War I, and I had an uncle that was killed in World War II that I never knew. So there was always that, I thought I had a sense of obligation.
Melinda Mills. My nickname is Minnie. My family's called me that since I was little. My time frame was December 1975 to February 2006. I did 30 years.
In what branch of service?
I was everything with the Army. I started out with the Navy. I did 4 years active duty enlisted. Then I went to reserve and stayed 13 years enlisted. And then I went to the Air Force, and I did 13 years as an officer. So they get the baby out, and I don't hear cry. So always gets me. They took the baby out, took it over to the corner, and a good delay, 10 seconds, then the baby started to cry, and so did I.
My name's John Mills. I started out in the Marine Corps, did 6 years. Then I went to the Air Force and did 28 more. So I'm a lifer. And the time frame was like from 67 pretty much on, you know. I did 34 years, so I've been to 93 countries. I've been to, you name it, I've played in it, like Kosovo and Grenada, and Panama, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, everything after that, probably some I can't even remember. So I've been around. You know, I went to a lot of places, carried a lot of things, seen a lot of people, went to some places that I can't even talk about. But what really sticks out in my mind after all these years was the year after 9/11, it was 2001, I was selected to go on a crew, and we delivered the first 20 detainees to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And it's so long, it's 16 hours of flying, plus all the ground time before you left. And when we got to Cuba, finally got them downloaded out of our way.
Welcome back. Cheers. Enjoying my Eagle Rare Kentucky Straight Bourbon. If you're not familiar, all bourbon is a whiskey, but not all whiskey are bourbon. There's a lot of rules that go along with it, but a lot of people get this confused, and I had this discussion the other day that Kentucky is the only person that's allowed to produce, or only state that's allowed to produce bourbon. That's not true. Now, it has to be done in the United States by law, but it can be done anywhere in the United States. Now, we would argue, being from Kentucky, that the best bourbon is from Kentucky because of that the water that pours over the lime rock. But you can be anywhere. This is one of the most outstanding bourbons. The Eagle Rare, I mentioned earlier, it's hard to find, but it's got a ridiculous price point at only $35. You see this, you have to grab it. Make sure you go into your local stores where you buy your bourbon and ask them if they have it. If they don't, when they get in, make sure that they let you know, because again, it's sweet and full-bodied. It's got that rich copper. It's a 10-year. Fruit, again, on the nose, apples, bananas, some cherries, and it's just a pretty smooth. It's really good. I had it neat earlier. I threw a piece of distilled ice into it just to cool it down, and I think it really tames it down. I really like it with the ice ball in there. Has that caramel and honey and that oak taste that comes around. You still get a little bit of that burn, but it's not. It's smooth. It's very, very smooth. So definitely pick you up a bottle of Eagle Rare. I hope you enjoyed watching. Some of our heroes from the local post here from the American Legion. It is their 100-year anniversary for the American Legion, so we're very excited to highlight that on this episode of Veterans in Bars Getting Bourbon. Of course, my name is Rusty Martis, and if you need anything, we are a one-stop shop, that being the TVCA, Tri-State Veterans Community Alliance. Anything you may need, we can help you out with utilizing our community partner. So give us a call, 513-845-6822, 513-845-6822, or you can always find us online at Tri-State VCA, that's Victor Charlie Alpha.org. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we have a special episode coming up next month, so make sure you check it out. Please subscribe, and I have a little teaser here. I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. Maybe I had too much Eagle Rare, but we actually have a prior newscaster coming on the show, and he's going to be doing some live interviews with veterans at one of our upcoming Veteran Connect events, our veteran networking events. We call them Vet Connects. If you want to learn more about them or other things that we do, you can always find us on Facebook, and that's Tri-State VCA, Victor Charlie Alpha, or we also have the North Kentucky Military Veteran Coalition Facebook page. So I recommend you follow both of them so you don't miss out on anything. But again, you can always reach out to me at 513-845-6822. Cheers, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. That's good.